Today we're going to talk about thread lockers, which kind to use and how to use it. Now, a loose fastener on your vehicle can range from a minor annoyance to a potentially dangerous situation. That's why we try to use thread locker on every possible fastener we can on a vehicle. It's designed to keep the fastener from loosening up and backing out, and it's been sold in two variations for years: medium strength blue and high strength red.
So blue thread locker you're going to use on a lot of smaller bolts, things that you need to get back apart pretty easily, but you need to make sure that it stays together. Red thread locker is going to be for applications, especially things like drivetrain components, suspension and steering, where you want to make sure that that's not going to come apart. The challenge with the red thread locker is the holding power is so hard on it that you have to use a lot of times power tools and you have to use heat to remove them.
Permatex now manufactures orange thread locker, which combines the desirable properties of both red and blue thread locker.
The orange thread locker really gives you kind of that happy medium where you get the holding power of a red. It actually meets and exceeds the ASTM standards for a red thread locker, but it has the removability for hand tools like a blue thread locker.
No matter which color thread locker you use, it's important to start with clean surfaces.
So thread locker is going to be effective as long as the bolt is clean. You want to make sure that you get any rust off of there, any corrosion off of there.
If in doubt, use surface prep on all mating surfaces. This will activate the anaerobic compound in the thread locker. It's also important to use a sufficient amount of the product.
Well, you definitely want to make sure you've got enough on there to evenly coat the threads, because you got to remember, when you put that bolt back in place and you put the nut on it, the thread locker is actually going to spread throughout the bolt.
One last bit of advice: when using thread locker, never touch the applicator's nozzle to any metal surface.
Thread locker is actually an anaerobic compound, and so actually the only way it cures is by having metal-to-metal application and the absence of air. So one of the things that you want to be careful when you're putting thread locker onto a bolt is that you don't want to touch that nozzle to the actual metal application, because that can actually trigger the curing process. And once you cap that back up, once you create a chemical reaction, it can continue to cure and contaminate your thread locker.
Permatex also offers blue and red thread locker in a gel formula. It features the same performance as the liquid variety without dripping or making a mess. It's ideal for vertical and hard to reach surfaces. There's even a purple low-strength thread locker designed for light-duty uses, such as set screws and adjustment screws. It prevents fasteners up to 1/4 inch from vibrating loose, but also allows them to be removed easily.